All of the folks at the White House know we're being reasonable, and literally one senator, Kyrsten Sinema, is holding up the will of the entire Democratic Party.
It was the question baffling the nation's capital last week. What does Kyrsten Sinema want? The first-term Democratic senator, along with West Virginia's Joe Manchin, put roadblocks in front of trillions of dollars in potential infrastructure spending in order to satisfy their demands. But Democrats were demanding to know why she was standing in the way of a major party goal. By the end of the week, at least 3 groups were raising money to primary Sinema in 2024. Joining us now to untangle the mystery and what happens next, Christine Jones, a former Republican candidate for Arizona governor, and Tony Connie, a Democratic consultant and former deputy director of the Joe Biden campaign here in Arizona. Welcome back to Square Off.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Good morning.
Let's take a temperature check. Are either of you surprised by what we're seeing from Kyrsten Sinema? Tony, I'll start with you.
No, I'm not. I'm a little bit surprised at the sort of extent to which she's become a real symbol for kind of obstruction right now. That's sort of what she's being framed as. Her brand has always been about bipartisanship, and so I'm a little bit surprised that she has that more hasn't been done to sort of get this stuff through. But I think Sinema's like extremely a smart politician, and I'm anxiously looking to sort of see, if she's able to get to a deal so she can, get the agenda moving forward.
Christine, how surprised are you by this version of Kyrsten Sinema?
Actually, not at all. And of course, as everything in politics goes, when it's going in your favor, it's a great thing for her to be bipartisan. And when it's not, it's a terrible thing. But Kyrsten Sinema is famously about uniting people together to make compromise to get things done. And while the Democrats would like to say that she's being obstreperous and an obstruction right now, I think actually, in point of fact, the conversations she and Manchin are having with the White House and with Senator Schumer are meant to be about compromise. So it doesn't surprise me at all. I have to say I have a significant amount of admiration for her backbone and for her strength in light of how badly she's being pounded right now. I mean, she's under the gun from 98 other senators, and she's holding her own.
That's really interesting you're saying that, because Kyrsten Sinema's polling right now appears to show she's underwater among Democrats, while Republicans like you, Christine Jones, approve of her, and in particular Republican women approve of what she's doing. Why is that?
Well, because all of us in politics are a bunch of hypocrites. And so when they're doing what we want, we love them. And doing what we don't like, we don't love them. And that's just, I'm just being as candid and honest as possible. Obviously, from a Republican standpoint, from a fiscal conservative standpoint, we would love for anybody to stand in the way of this tidal wave of trillions of dollars of spending. It's bad for America. If it has to be Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin, God bless them. I hope they hold their own.
Tony Connie, try to stream progressive Democrats right now, the voice of progressive Democrats who are enraged by what Sinema is doing. Many of them held their nose and voted for her in 2018. They are on fire right now. What's going on there, and how big a problem is that for Kyrsten Sinema?
Well, I think the challenge is the reason why Republicans want somebody to stand in the way of this legislation is because it's overwhelmingly popular with the American people, and it's overwhelmingly popular with the Democratic caucus. And so, I think that that progressives are frustrated, but people like me who've known Senator Sinema for a long time, know how smart of a politician she is. And that she is doing, what I think she probably thinks is best for the state of Arizona. But, if it becomes the fact that people believe that the reason why the president's agenda gets tanked, is because she, was getting in the way as opposed to trying to come to a deal, it's going to be a problem. But she's, been able to make deals in her career. And so I'm really looking forward and hopeful that she is going to be able to get something done.
But I'll channel progressive Democrats, because I see it all over social media. They're saying she's doing what's best for Kyrsten Sinema. She's opposing things she once supported, like cutting drug costs, like taxing wealthier Americans. Help us understand that. Help them understand this.
Frankly, I don't understand the prescription drug thing at all. I think that's the kind of thing that the senator has campaigned on in the past. It's the type of thing that she normally will be in favor of, and even some friends of the senator are coming out and saying, hey, we really need to find out where you stand and get something done. And so, and I think that that's sort of from like a real sort of dispassionate political perspective as an outlook, I think things are a little bit different. I think that progressives are than even a couple of weeks ago. I think progressives are very frustrated, but the frustration is also extending to a larger chunk of the Democratic electorate, so I don't totally understand what's going on. Other than the fact that she's now the most important United States senator, which is, can be very, very good for the state of Arizona. And, so there could be a deal.
Sounds like you're having a tough time with
it. So I'm
really, sounds like you're having a tough time.
Curious to sort of see what goes down.
It sounds like you're having a tough time explaining this to the progressives, and I don't know if it can't be explained. Christine Jones, can Sinema walk away from these negotiations and have nothing to show for it?
I don't think so. And I think to Tony's point, she is in such a powerful position as it relates to the entire Senate and particularly the state of Arizona. But I chuckled a minute ago because you said something that I thought was a little funny. And that was that, is it true that she's doing this in her own best interest? And that sounded a little redundant to me, because to say that a politician is doing something in a politician's best interest is sort of by definition what they do. Having said that, right, they always want to get reelected, so they're going to do what's the best for them, whether it's taking money from drug companies or some other special interest. But having said that, I do think that when you have the ability to be the deciding vote, it really does bring home so much power. And whoever she's listening to in the state, whether it's the Democrats or whether it's the Republicans, whether it's the Blue Dogs, whether it's the moderates, whoever it is, I hope those voices are so loud and so compelling to her that she says, if we are to do something with prescription drug prices, let's do it so that it helps the senior citizens in Arizona and the veteran community in Arizona. All of the things that could be so helpful out of this legislation. And the good news is, after last Thursday night, I guess it was, when they came to a compromise on the cliff, we have a couple of more days maybe, and sounder heads can prevail on the compromise piece.
Tony, I'll end this discussion with you. 3 groups have said they're putting together money to help fund a primary challenger in 2024, still 3 years away. Should Sinema be worried about any of those groups?
She probably isn't. I think she should be focused on trying to get something, to get this deal done in the Senate. That's what she should be focusing on, and I'm sure that is what she's focusing on. But I think that there is something there. Sinema has never lost. The senator has never lost a primary. She's only lost one election in her entire career. She's a great politician. She's a very smart politician. But there is sort of an uprising among Democrats, and not just the sort of far left of the Democratic Party, but just really what is they just want something to get done, and that's a very Arizona thing. Like it's not that we care about bipartisanship or that we care about, that kind of, Arizonans are transactional with their government. We want things to get done. We don't care how, we want it to get done. And, right now it looks like nothing is happening. And so if that becomes the impression, and if people think that that's because of Senator Sinema, then it's going to become a challenge for her.
But one of these groups has about $100 million to play with.
There's some real money
serious
here.
money in a Senate race.
This isn't a group of Democratic precinct committee people who got together and are raising small dollars. Like there's a legitimate huge focus and interest in Arizona right now that has never been this way, period, for all of our races. And in this one particular circumstance, there is a lot of attention and pressure on Senator Sinema. And I think that there is something there.